can start learning.
Good morning to one and all. I, Merlin Babu, member of the IIC Council, welcome you all to this virtual platform for the webinar Innovation and Startup organized by the institution's Innovation Council of Konkan Gyanpeeth Rahul Darkar College of Pharmacy and Research Institute Kajat on occasion of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav under aegis of Mumbai University. Today, we are fortunate to have with us eminent and young entrepreneur from the pharma field who is going to share her experiences and journey from innovation to startup on this platform. It's my privilege to welcome Honorable Respected Dr. Mohan Kale, Principal of KGRDCP and RI Kajit. We are delighted to have with us our guest of honor, Ms. Ruchi Om Prakash Singh, co-founder and Chief Technology Officer of Cerilia Nutritech Private Limited, New Delhi, and Relicus Healthcare Private Limited, Mumbai. I welcome Inia Madam, HOD of Konkan Gyanpeeth Diploma College of Pharmacy, Kajit, and I also welcome Ms. Poonam Patil Madam, coordinator of this event and IIC convener of KGRDCP and RI Kajit. And last but not the least, I welcome all the participants, fellow pharmacists and budding pharmacists who have taken their time out and graced this occasion with their presence. Welcome one and all. In presence of you all, let us formally begin with this program. It's our tradition to start any program with Deep Prajwalan and prayer as a tribute to Mother Saraswati, goddess of knowledge, and Sri Ganesh. To do so, I request Ajay sir to please run the video of virtual Deep Prajwalan ceremony.
कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Poonam ma'am to continue with the session.
Thank you, Merlin. I welcome our today's guest speaker and young entrepreneur, Ruchi Singh. I'm highly inspired by your journey, madam. And really, you are a role model, inspiration for our students. So thank you, madam, for joining and taking out the time from your busy schedule and agreed on our request. So this program was actually scheduled much before, but because of college activities and exam work, we could not arrange it at that time. Today, with this occasion of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebration under aegis of Mumbai University, our IIC cell organized this program. So I request all the students, participants, please listen here carefully. You will be surely get benefited by this session. So without wasting much of time, I would request Merlin to proceed further. Over to you, Merlin.
Thank you, ma'am. With the blessings and positive vibes, let us move further on our program. Friends, IIC cell of KGRDCP and RI are organizing innovation and startup event on occasion of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav under aegis of University of Mumbai. On January 16, 2016, the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi launched the Startup India program. The Startup India program is intended to start up India to build a robust ecosystem for nurturing innovation and startups, which will in turn drive sustainable economic growth and generate large-scale employment opportunities in India. The objectives are to develop entrepreneurial skills among students and faculties, to inculcate a culture of innovation driven entrepreneurship, to promote new technology or knowledge or innovation based startups, to build a vibrant startup ecosystem by establishing a network between academia, financial institutions, industries, and other institutes. Our KGRSP and RI established IIC Cell in 2019-20 under MHRD and Ministry of Education. We feel very proud that in last year we were appreciated by MHRD and MOE by a rating of 4.5 out of 5, which was the second highest score. And this year we were selected as a mentor institute to help mentee institutes who need guidance and support. With this short introduction about the startup and IIC Cell accomplishments, let me invite our beloved principal, Dr. Mohan Kale sir, to express his views. It's over to you, sir.
Presentation. Thank you, Merlin, our IIC student coordinator. At the outset, I would like to invite Ruchi Om Prakash Singh, a great
Extremely sorry participants because of technical error. We are beginning with the program today. Sorry for this.
good morning, all of you. Sorry for the technical error from our side. So, at the outset, I would like to welcome Ruchi Om Prakash Singh, great innovator and co-founder Cerelia Nutritech Private Limited, New Delhi. She will be speaking on the today's title, that is innovation and startup. But before handing over this platform to her, I would like to just brief you with reference to entrepreneurship development program. You all know that during COVID pandemic, our college has conducted more than 250 webinars during this entire 1.5 year. And all these webinars were aimed to motivate, encourage our students and to be entrepreneurs, startup, and be Atmanirbhar by doing such great novel work. Our country needs you dear pharmacist, to work on this. We know what was our condition before pandemic. We even did not had enough ventilators. We did not had enough PPE kits. We had no medicines or vaccines. But our great pharmacy people in this field, they innovated, and one of our Nagpur University Department of Pharmaceutical, Jadhav sir, who was associated with serum vaccine, he was he had a great contribution in invention of Covishield. So likewise, our pharmacy fraternity worked day and night during the entire COVID pandemic, when the entire everything was locked down. And because of such great work, today so many people have been vaccinated, and we are lucky to be safe and saved from two pandemic lockdowns and attacks. And now, so dear students, you should always do great thing, and you can do it. You can do it. You all can do it. Our pharmacy field is vast. As often I tell you that it's not just the study of drugs or medicines. It involves everything, right from API, right from herbal products, right from cosmetics. Your knowledge you have to apply, you have to implement and plan accordingly. Just to brief you about entrepreneurship development. Next. So entrepreneur, a person who sets up his businesses taking on the financial risk in the hope of profit. Actually, he comes with some idea, and that idea, based on some basic idea, we always give slogan, that is dream big, not sleeping, daydreaming. Dream should be such that you should not sleep at all with that dream. That is your aim. So dream big, think your brain, your frontal lobes, entire things are creative in nature. So you have to be creative. Ideate some idea daily in our life, day to day. We know that many things are needed. So based upon the demand, create some idea, ideate, and then innovate. I will not speak much on this, but madam will be going. So entrepreneurship development, it is the process of improving the skills and knowledge of entrepreneurs through various trainings and classroom programs. Even today's program is also an entrepreneurship development program. So the whole point of entrepreneurship development is to increase the number of entrepreneurs. So a leader should create more leaders. Entrepreneurs should create more entrepreneurs. And just these 5 basic qualities should always be imbibed and cultured in your life, day to day life. You should have passion. Passion is must. You must love yourself. You must love your work. You must love your studies. You should have passion for the things which you are going to do. If you have passion, the great interest develops. And with that interest, it can lead you to the positiveness. And in accumulating all positiveness, you have to work, and then you will really work that, and something will be created in future. Self discipline, always be self disciplined, dedicated, motivated. Never break the rule, never apply any shortcut, never have a cut and paste measures to complete your studies or work. It will not work in your life. So you should always be self disciplined. You should have some abilities to take the risk. Creative thinking plays an important role, and then ultimately persistence. So, with these 5 basic qualities, you can be a great successful entrepreneur. Passion. An entrepreneur mind takes on new tasks, learns new things in order to reach that goal. And he does all with love, passion. Self discipline basically means master the inner self, inner emotions to generate a sense of responsibility of getting the job done, which fosters self direction. So, self discipline is the another attribute which you need to become an entrepreneur. Ability to take risk. One has to take risk. Plan A, plan B, plan C, all plans should be made ready before hand. If plan A fails, go to the plan B. If plan B fails, switch over to plan C. But see that you are able and adapt to the conditions. Say pandemic was there, adaptability was needed, and everyone adapted to this new normal. And today we are over conquering this. So likewise, ability to take risks. Creative thinking is necessary. A successful entrepreneur is a creative thinking with loads of ideas constantly flowing through her mind. I always tell you that always accumulate positive ideas, negate the negative ideas. A day is not far then when you will actually try to begin this creative thinking. And persistence is always required. With persistence, you are able to pick yourself back up and keep moving forward towards your goal in spite of any type of obstacles. So, you have to plan the things properly, act on that, implement that, and after implementation with several feedbacks and improvement further and further with the continuous mode, you achieve the results. So that was just the brief to be associated and part of this innovation and startup. And I now request Merlin to take up and start talk of Ruchi Singh.
Thank you so much, sir, for your informative and wonderful words. Now I request Samriddhi to continue with the introduction of ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Marlene. Here I go. May I now take the privilege to introduce Miss Ruchi Om Prakash Singh. Word will fall short to introduce Miss Ruchi Singh for her contribution to our pharmacy profession and success at very young age. She is professional by degree and technopreneur by passion. She has 5 years of experience in pharmaceutical product development. Equipped with cutting-edge technology, she strove to translate her knowledge of science into product for making lives healthy and happy. With passion for building innovative products, she co-founded 2 startups to solve problems in healthcare with technology. She presently co-founder and Chief Technology Officer at Cirilia Nutritech Private Limited, New Delhi, India, and also at Relicus Healthcare Private Limited, Mumbai, India. Before that, she was Assistant Professor at VES College of Pharmacy, Chembur, Mumbai for approx 1 year. From June 2015 to April 2016, she was BIRAC Innovator at KIIT Technology Business Incubator, Bhubaneswar, India. Ms. Ruchi Singh's startup, recognized as Top 500 Global DevTech Startups under Hello Tomorrow Global Summit 2019, Paris, France. She was awarded as Startuppreneur of the Year at CII Future Global Business Forum 2018, sponsored by Jubilant Life Sciences. Her startups emerged as one of the top 5 startups for Advanced Business Acceleration Program by at XLR8 Andhra Pradesh Technology Business Accelerator. She also co-principal investigator in funding received from Pfizer India Innovation and IP Program Grand Challenges Canada. She is facilitated by Honorable Government of Goa Smith Mridula Sinha on occasion of Women's Day at Seaside Startup Summit Goa as top 5 budding woman entrepreneur. 6 multiple awards, recognitions, facilitations. This was the shortest possible introduction which I can give about you, madam. I'm sorry if I missed any of your contributions. May I now request Miss Ruchi madam to please give a talk on innovation and startup. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Samriddhi, for the humble introduction. First of all, I would like to thank the KGRDC group, Dr. Kali and Dr. Poonam, for having me here. It's always a pleasure interacting with students. I absolutely love doing it. I'll just quickly share my screen so that we can begin with the. Yeah, just a moment. Yeah, is it visible? Is my screen visible? Is my presentation visible? Okay, yeah. Okay. So when me and Dr. Poonam, we were discussing, what to talk about for this current session. So I thought I just don't want to talk about my journey, but then I also want to give you certain resources and different stages of a startup, and what do you need at those particular stages, who could help you growing in that particular stage of a startup. So that's what we are going to be talking today. So starting with my journey, like a student also, I was always a very curious student. Like Dr. Kali also mentioned, curiosity is one trait of an entrepreneur. So I was always a very curious student. I always wanted to do something new, look for multiple opportunities that are available, take part into multiple events that are happening, try to get into multiple societies that are there. So like every student, every B Farm student who has this confusion, okay, what after B Farm? Either you go for M Farm, you go for your MBA, or you go abroad, or you do something completely different. So I was also under the same dilemma. But then to add to my confusion, I had given both CAT and GPAT, and somehow I cleared both. So now the only reason probably why I took up MPharm was because I was in my comfort zone. I could, easily get admission in my own BPharm college, wherein I was very comfortable and I knew everyone. So, and also the stipend that I was going to get. So that's why I took MPharm. Now, while I was doing my MPharm, I thought that I saw what kind of research people are doing. I went through multiple theses of my seniors and other people which was there in our library and also on the internet. What I realized was all the thesis, all the MPharm project work that is generally done, it just ends up in a thesis on some rack, or is maximum converted into a research article. Nothing worthwhile comes out of it. It is not really used for the betterment of human life, and we as healthcare professionals have that power wherein we can impact people's life, we can improve the healthcare. So while I was doing my MPharm, we thought that okay, I want to work on something which is worthwhile, which is going to give some impact. So that time, while I was doing my literature survey, I realized okay, fine, cancer is the biggest problem that we need to work on. So me, along with one of my senior who was doing her PhD under my guide, Dr. Supriya, Chaitali is her name. So we applied for this grant from BIRAC. This is called Biotechnology Ignition Research Grant. And to our surprise, we got this grant. Now, in order to facilitate this grant, we had to be associated with an incubator, which was and somehow like we ended up in Bhubaneswar, one of the incubators there. KIIT incubator. So that is the place, wherein I developed research skills. That was the place, since it was an incubator. Now you guys are lucky your college is conducting such events wherein you are being aware of all these terms. But then during our time, there were no such events. There was no EDC in our college. All these sort of all these sort of things were not happening that time. So there at KIIT Bhubaneswar, the incubator there, I got to know of these terms. Startup ecosystem, IPR, bio entrepreneurship, seed fund, etc. Some of these terms, even probably now, I'm not fully aware of what they are. So there I realized okay, fine, if you want to do something, if you have a good idea, it is backed by good skills, good innovative idea, there are people who are there to help you out, right from mentorship to funding, how to take it ahead. So then I thought okay, let me start something on my own. So my first startup that I started was Relicus Healthcare, wherein it was I was not doing something very innovative there, but it was simple generic pharmaceutical branding and marketing startup, wherein I used to get the products manufactured by a third party manufacturer, brand and market it on my own name, on an own brand name. I would call it a failed startup. Like we are taking measures to revive it now. We are trying to do multiple things there. But then initially when I started it, I ran it for almost 1.5 year, and I would say it was a failure. There are multiple mistakes that I did. So to start with, even though the startup was started with my friends who I knew probably for more than 10-15 years, but then still we did not have a proper founders agreement. So there was no boundary that, okay, this founder would do this person is responsible for this. So we did not have a proper founders agreement. I was not clear with my legalities. All of us were not clear, what legal challenges we could face. Then we took the trademark issue very lightly, wherein since we are a marketing startup, our trademark has to be extremely strong. We did not pay a lot of attention to what could be the brand name. Like we did think of brand names, but then we did not have a very strong back in front back. We did not have very strong hold on what the trademark could be. So out of the 12 trademarks that we had filed, 5 of them were rejected, because of which we faced a lot of issues, and we had to change the packaging, we had to change the brand name of the product. Now, since we all of us were from pharma background, we did not have different skill sets, I would say. All of us were from pharma background. None of us were expert in unit economics. We did not know how to handle the supply chain. So this was something like some mistakes that we made. One major mistake that we made was failure to pivot. Now, there was this one time when we started, within 6 to 8 months of our starting, there was this one rule wherein around 350 generic combinations were banned, and 4 of our products were in that combination list. Now, suddenly, we had this huge stock, which we had to, which we could not sell because those, they were banned. Now, what to do with it? And we faced a lot of losses there. So we did not pivot at the right time. We did not change our course of action at the right time, and because of which we had to stop our operations for some time to rethink what could be done. So my major learnings, whatever have been from the initial failure of Relicus, were that it's very important to have the right co-founders. It's good that they are your friends, but then all of us have to be with the same vision. So some of us started just for earning money. Some of us started like, okay, we had a vision, fine, we wanted to grow the company. So, but it's very important that all the co-founders share the same vision and mission, and there is a perfect demarcation, like who will handle what, who will be responsible for what. Ultimately, you all are responsible for everything, but then there has to be a sole responsible person for something or the other. Also, initially we were spending a lot on our operation cost, because in lack of our MBA degrees, I would say, and in pharma, when we are having our BPharm MPharm degree, we are not taught about these things. We are never taught about the business aspects of it. We do have a small subject called management, pharmaceutical management, but I think that covers almost nothing. So we were keeping our operation cost very high. Also, there was this one my personal problem wherein I wanted to micromanage everything. So I wanted to be a part of everything. I wanted to know everything that was going around in the company. Now, no matter how smart you are, how intelligent you are, how multitasking you are, it's impossible for you to do everything. So that's why there are people with different skill sets. So don't do everything yourself, empower others, and once you empower them, the kind of work, be it your employees, be it your co-founder, even be it your intern, the kind of work they do when you empower them is amazing. Also, so when we started Relicus, it was probably just for money. We did not really have a purpose behind it. So that was another reason why we were not able to sell a lot of it. Also, initially, when we were hiring our initial staff, we were trying to keep the cost low, and in that we were hiring people who were not very experienced, hiring part-time. So we were not investing in hiring well, and those were the first employees that would be there for us with our company, and they kind of make your company culture. So when you're hiring your initial employees, make sure that you hire the best. And also there is I would say even hiring someone is one art which probably you'll learn over the period of time. Also, like I mentioned, like don't start just for money, have a purpose. Same way, like your product won't sell. The story would sell. So unless and until you have a story behind your product, it's very difficult, for people to adapt to your product, to buy your product. So always have a story behind your product that would sell. So even if you look at the brands which are doing well right now, they all have a story behind them. That's why they sell. And the most important learning which I would say is, don't fear failure, embrace it, learn from the mistakes, and apply those learnings from that failure to something new, to bring something even more worthwhile. So with the learnings from my failure at Relicus, we started Cerelia. So Cerelia is very different from Relicus. Relicus was more into generic pharmaceutical marketing and branding, but then in Cerelia we are doing something hardcore research development, wherein we are developing products from scratch, and innovative product is something that is our forte. So we are developing IP based products, patented products, majorly for tackling malnutrition and hidden hunger. So the problem that we are trying to solve here is, so 1 in 3 people, globally, they suffer from one or the other form of vitamin deficiency. Some major vitamins B12, folic acid, D3. Now, talking on the technical perspective, these vitamins, they suffer from low oral bioavailability. Now, if you see the capsule and tablets which are available, if you read that label, they do mention 100% of RDA, 200% of RDA, 400% of RDA. Sometimes as high as 1200% of your RDA. Now, this extra RDA is your required daily allowance. Now, this extra percentage is given to compensate for the losses that happen in our stomach due to the acidic environment of stomach. Also, for some specific vitamins, especially iron, when you take it orally, it causes GI irritation, bowel discomfort, constipation, nausea, and also they require excessive repeated dosing. Then there is something called as intrinsic factor. So now around 55% of the global population is deficient in this intrinsic factor. Now, if you're deficient in this intrinsic factor, no matter how much amount of vitamin B12 you're taking orally, it won't be absorbed into the blood. So that's why people require injections. So before starting, Cerelia, so we were in rural parts of Orissa. We were trying to talk to people. We were trying to study the maternal and child healthcare ecosystem. What are the problems faced by them? And in the process, we jotted down some 150 odd problems. And what we realized that the root cause of all these 150 odd problems was micronutrient deficiency or hidden hunger. Now, so we tried to study further, why this problem exists. So what we realized was, government every year, they spend more than 26,000 crores on various nutrition initiatives, like for food fortification, free iron and folic acid supplementation. But then still, even though these iron folic acid supplements are practically given for free, the adherence rate, according to a WHO report in India, is barely 30 to 35%. So we tried to figure out what could be the reason, if you're getting it for free, you're getting it at your doorstep, still why the pregnant women are not taking up this thing. So after speaking to multiple stakeholders, Asha Anganwadi Behenjis, the gynecologist, the pregnant women themselves, the family, what we realized was, apart from the technical issues like nausea, vomiting, constipation, there were certain social issues also that were there. So what we realized was, now when you take iron tablets, the stool color, it changes to darker brown in color, dark brown or black in color. If any one of you must have had iron capsules or tablets, you must have realized this thing. Now, how obsessed we are with fair skin in India, what we realized was, so what used to happen, especially in the rural parts, the mother-in-law would not let the daughter-in-law take these tablets, because they would say, if your stool color is changing to brown or black, the baby that would be born would also be darker in color. Now, other issues like patriarchal issues, generally in India, especially in the rural parts, women are the last ones to have their food of whatever is left over after the male children and the elder women of the house. Because of this, their nutritional requirement is not completed properly. So we wanted to develop something, which would be solely for the women, which they would love to take rather than being compelled to take, and also bypass the technical problems of bioavailability and nausea, vomiting, constipation associated with these nutrients. So that's why we developed a solution wherein we are delivering these nutrients transdermally via the skin. It's in form of a lotion or a cream, which you just have to apply it over the skin, and the nutrients would be delivered into the blood. So the patent for our technology Ceridem is granted in India, and for the US and Australia patent is in process. So the so here we have a deep technology wherein we are able to simultaneously deliver both water soluble as well as fat soluble vitamins using some vesicular based systems. So now, obviously, developing a technology, developing proof of concept does require certain amount of funding and mentorship. So my co-founder Kiran, he got this BIRAC fellowship, which is called SIIP, Social Innovation and Immersion Program, wherein we got some initial small amount of seed fund to play around with the product, develop a prototype. Also, then we were later on supported by the first grant that we got was a Pfizer Innovation and IP program, which was for our idea to proof of concept, wherein we developed our first product of B12 iron and folic acid. Then we were also supported by Grand Challenges Canada, which is through the Canadian government, and Grand Challenges India, which is given by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and implemented by BIRAC. So also, like I mentioned, our lack of formal management education, we were behind in a lot of things. We did not know the business aspects. We did not know about marketing. We did not know about how to make a business plan, because in our formal education, we were never taught about this thing. So there were certain accelerator programs and fellowships, like Texas IC Square Institute, V Fellowship, which is Women Women Entrepreneurship and Innovation, Women Empowerment in Entrepreneurship Fellowship, which is through DST. So they also conducted in Mumbai now, IIT Bombay. Earlier it was only in IIT Delhi. So I underwent some fellowships. This was like a power-packed mini MBA program within 6 months, 1 year, wherein you get to know all the aspects about how to make a business plan, what are the legalities, how to calculate your unit economics, what different marketing methods you could use, etc. So in this past 4.5 years, we were able to represent, India at multiple national events as well as international events, one in Paris and one in Finland, Netherlands. We were also part of Falling Walls Lab, which is through DAD, Germany, wherein wherein all technology startups showcase their products, and we were amongst the top 15 startups to be there. So this is my lab. This is my small team who is working on ground for product development. We have few other people as well. So we started with one product, but then right now we have around 9 products in our portfolio using our patented technology. And apart from this, we have also started working something in the cosmetic sector and food sector. So in the past 4.5 years, since we started Cerelia, started Relicus, I have had constantly upgrade my skills. I always think that if I would have taken up a job, there are a lot of times when I feel that, okay, I should have just probably taken up a job. I maybe, I would have climbed the corporate ladder and earning probably much better than what I am right now, and life would have been easier. But then when I look back, in the process, in the entire journey, what I feel that if I would have taken up a job, I would have probably taken up a job in formulation development or maybe business development, either of the two. So I would have just learned about that particular sector. But then right now, in order to run your own startup, when you're doing something right from the scratch, I had to know everything about right from regulatory sciences, from GMP, GLP, because I set up my entire lab. You also have to know about your taxes, IPR filing, marketing, everything compliances. You need to know how to hire good people. All this is because you're running the entire show. You do not have a lot of resources initially to invest in a lot of third party, and you're hiring people for doing things for you, all the things for you. There are a lot of things initially that you have to do by yourself. So in order to do this, and even if you want to get something done from others, you need to know at least 50% of what you want, because unless and until you yourself know what you want, you cannot let you cannot make someone else do that work for you. So this is my super amazing team. Kiran, he's a biotechnologist who's the CEO who takes care of the collaborations, liaisons, funding, etc. I'm the CTO. I take care of the technical activities, the product pipeline, regulatory, IPR. Dr. Deepti Mohanty is a public health expert. Nikhil is director for strategy, who's expert in the startup and innovation ecosystem. Dr. Veena Gaul, who's an emeritus professor now in IIT Delhi, who's also the head of Center for Biomedical Engineering, is our mentor who helps us, who guides us for all the technical activities wherever we get stuck. And Dr. Gandham Bhulia is the deputy director in RMRC Bhubaneswar. He helps us on the nutritional science aspect of it. So in the past 4.5 years since our inception, we have won several awards, represented India at various national and international forum, and it has been a great, great learning experience overall. So this was about my journey, but then I also wanted to talk about now, if you have an innovative idea, how do you from idea generation, how to implementation, what exactly do you need to grow your idea? Who are the people that could help you in growing up that idea? So, for the ease of it, let's divide the entire startup development phase into pre-startup, startup, and growth. So let's see what all would be included here. So when you have your pre-startup phase, like you start with your pre-startup, wherein you are just thinking of the idea. Okay, I want to start something. Now, what should I start? How should I start? Startup phase is wherein, okay, fine. You're sure that you want to work on this idea and you start implementing it. Then comes your growth phase, wherein you have implemented your idea and now you are growing. People are buying your product, you're using your services, you're generating good amount of revenue. So your pre-startup phase is where you have your ideation. That is, okay, you think of something, okay, I want to work on this particular product or this particular service. So you develop the concept, you make a team, or probably you're working alone, doesn't matter, or you make a team. You define the vision and mission of your startup. You check whether the product that you are developing has a market fit or not. So trust me, a lot of startups fail not because they lack funding, but then because the product did not have a good market fit. So in your pre-startup phase, what exactly do you do is you identify the problem that your product is solving. Okay, you either identify the problem, or you find you have decided that I want to work on this product, and now go back and see what your product, what is the problem that your product is solving. Now, one thing I would like to mention here is a lot of startups do that. They have a product and then they look for a problem. I would suggest have a problem, identify a problem, then build a product around that problem that is going to solve that problem. It could be a product or it could be a service. Now, also, you need to check whether, if your idea is already out there, if someone is already doing this particular thing, it's okay. If someone is already selling the same product, or they're offering the same service, that's absolutely okay. Try to find out the gap. Okay, if this particular company is selling, first thing, are they selling? Are people buying their product? If they're buying, look at their look at what things they lack, what is the gap, and try to solve that gap and make the product better. Also, you need to do a market survey wherein people actually need your product or service. So when we were starting Cerelia, we initially developed 2 3 prototypes, different type of products, wherein we had a patch, we had a gel. We tried to go and talk to our end users. And what we realized was they were not willing to use that product. They did not really like that product. They wanted it in a different form. So that's how we took feedback from them, and we again went back to the drawing board and made a new product which they would like using it. Also, in the pre-startup phase is the best phase where you can start looking for team members and co-founders. Like I mentioned, no matter how amazing you are, how multitasking you are, how smart you are, it's almost practically impossible and difficult for one single person to do everything. And also, trust me, startup journey is exciting, is glamorous, probably is very fulfilling and learning. Doesn't matter if your startup fails or succeeds, but then it's difficult at the same time. And that difficult phase can be shared only by a co-founder or a good team member. Your parents, your partner, your friends, no matter what, how close they are to you, they will not be able to understand what you're going through. So it's very important to look for the right team members, right co-founders. Also, your pre-startup phase is the phase wherein you will define your mission and vision. So you need to have a very strong reason why do you want to start this company. If money is the reason, fine, good enough, not a problem. But then if you have another reason, another motivation to start a company, so to solve a problem, to solve a problem, to make an impact, are you starting it for a social reason? So define it. It's okay, you will obviously iterate on it, change it in future. But then initially, in at the pre-startup phase also, it's very important to define all these things. And plus, definitely make a business plan, because unless and until you have a business plan, you don't know how you're going to implement this thing, how you're going to take it to the growth phase, and it's going to give you a good amount of revenue. It is difficult. So, who are the people who could help you at this particular stage? As a student, startup competitions, hackathons, ideathons is something that you should very religiously follow and participate in if you want to start something on your own, if you have that knack for innovation, if you had that knack for entrepreneurship. So look at good colleges, good EDCs, entrepreneurship development cells around you and across India, and see what type of competitions they are having, and participate in these hackathons, ideathons, so that you get an idea, you get exposure, you get to know what is there outside in the real world. And trust me, these hackathons and ideathons are excellent places wherein you could find your co-founders. Also, at the pre-startup phase, you need a seed fund. So, like, we got seed fund from BuyRack right even before starting our own company. So, a seed fund, a lot of incubators, would help you, wherein you can get seed funds. Your friends and family or your faculty member, some fellow entrepreneur could also help you. So, look at these people, go and talk to them, participate in various hackathons, ideathons. That is what is going to help you at the pre-incubation, pre-startup phase or your ideation phase. Now, once your pre-phase is completed, you don't have to form a company right at the beginning. Just have your idea, work on that idea, build it, and once you're confident that okay, this could be something that is going to give me revenue in future, that is something which the people need, then only go and form a company. So in your startup phase, wherein initially you just had idea, but in your startup phase you are going to develop a proof of concept, and you're going to validate that idea. How you're going to validate idea? Talk to people, talk to stakeholders, talk to your customers, make a plan for growth. So in your startup phase will be somewhere wherein you are forming your company legally. So deciding on whether I want to file I want to form a limited liability partnership, or I want to form a private limited company, or I want to go ahead with a proprietorship. This is the phase wherein you will develop your minimum viable product. So minimum viable product is nothing but maybe your prototype, which you could give out to people to try for free or for some minimum cost, and see if they like to use it, get a feedback, go back to the drawing board if if you have some feedback, reiterate on the product. This is also the phase wherein your team is growing. So initially probably you were just working, you and your co-founder, or maybe you alone. But then now, since the company is growing, you have more and more things to do. You need more skill set, different type of skill set, so you will hire more people. Also, this is a phase wherein you will need more funds, fundraising. So you'll approach different agencies for fundraising and customer onboarding, wherein you will look for people who will be willing to buy your product. So in startup phase, you need to work on your refinement of what the idea you had thought initially, based on your feedback from people who are going to use it, from the key stakeholder. You might have to work on refinement. You also have to think of strategy wherein you know how you can retention, you can do customer retention, how you can grow the number of people. So initially in the ideation phase you had a rough business plan, but then now in the startup phase or the growth startup phase, you need to have a sustainable business plan, which is for sure going to give you revenue. This is also the phase wherein you will be defining your company culture. So the type of people you are hiring, what type of rules and regulations you have in your company, that all will be set up here. And also the most important part is validation, wherein whatever idea you had, whatever minimum viable product you developed, this particular product you will test, you will validate. There will be different types. So say my product is more on the you know wherein I have to do a lot of animal testing, human testing. So that is my validation. But then, say if you have a product which does not require a lot of human testing, validation, regulatory compliances, so there it will be a different sort of, wherein you will be taking validation directly from the customer to see if they are going to pay for it or not. So who can help you in this particular phase? Incubators can help you. There are multiple now. Since we are all pharma students here, so I would like to mention, like, there are very specific bio incubators who work in healthcare, pharma, biotech, food tech domain. So look for incubators. They have multiple funding opportunities. They have multiple programs that would help you in training them. There are certain accelerators. Accelerators. We'll talk about what are these accelerators later on. Then also obviously your customers are the ones who you should approach in this particular phase. There are angel investors. Then also it could be bootstrapping, wherein probably you and your co-founders have some amount of money which you are putting, you know, in the startup phase, so that you have some minimum viable product, you have some validation, and then later on you will apply for funding, or probably you do not need any funding. You can just bootstrap and run the company. So next comes your growth phase. Once you have formed the company, you have a team in place now, you have a sustainable business plan, you also probably have secured some funding. So next you look for how you can grow your customer base. You will set processes. You will set processes in the company. You will optimize your product. You will optimize your services. Increase the conversion rate. Conversion rate is, say if you are reaching out to 10 customers, 10 prospective customers, 5 are buying your product, so you want to make it to 9 buying my product. Also you'll look for how you can scale or grow up your business. So so you look for new market opportunity. So for example, we were working in nutraceutical, but then we saw an opportunity wherein we could use similar technology that we have developed, similar resources that we already have, and work in cosmetic sector, work in food sector. So tapping new market here, look for more funding, a higher funding, equity based funding. Till now probably you were relying on grants and angel investments. Then optimize your marketing and sales strategy, increase your infrastructure, improve the quality, the method of implementation, so that more and more customers, paying customers, come on your business. So here, you would probably go for fundraising if if some exponential growth is involved, or a lot of startups do not require any external funds, but then they are self sufficient with whatever revenue they are generating, or your own bootstrapped money. Then you also try to look for addition of new product or new services. uh, Accelerator programs, there are multiple accelerators India, and very good accelerators abroad like Y Combinator and multiple others, who could help you in growing it. So probably now you're working in India at a national level, you would want to take your product or service to an international level, so these accelerators can help you. So so this is how, roughly at what different stages what you would require. Now looking at the Indian healthcare sector scenario, it's a huge market. By around next year, the Indian healthcare industry is going to be valued at more than $350 billion, which is a big amount, and it is supposed to be growing at a 20% growth rate. Especially after COVID, we have seen that the healthcare sector is growing pretty well. So there are certain future trends, which wherein there is a scope for innovation, there is a scope for startup development. So you could collaborate with someone with artificial intelligence and with your knowledge of healthcare and pharma. Look for something which could be a amalgamation of AI in healthcare. Blockchain is another big thing, big data analytics, robotics, 3D printing, nanomedicine, and precision medicine. So these are the future, and if startups are working on this particular domain, there is a lot of scope for future, and a lot of funding is coming into uh, in India, especially for such sort of ventures. So initially when we used to talk about healthcare, it was only product development, but then slowly it has been transforming, wherein uh, people are offering healthcare services as well as products. But now, even after even after more development, more evolution of your healthcare sector, there are scope for developing healthcare based products, like we have pharma, nutraceutical, uh, functional food, medical devices, or allied products. Then also there are services, so like your farm easy 1mg, these are all your service providers. Now another big thing is coming up, wherein information. So now I know a startup who works on reading your prescription. So they provide you prescription information based on the prescription. So they have certain experts on their panel. You just have to upload the prescription, and they would tell you everything about your prescription, and help you in understanding your reports better. Also there is a startup which I know who's working with diagnostic labs to so a lot of times when we get a diagnostic reports, we are not able to read, a layman is not able to read that particular report very well. So that particular startup is collaborating with diagnostic labs, and making the report in a form that it is very easy for a layman to understand what is there in their report. So information in healthcare is another one big sector, big opportunity which has come up. Now now we would say that, okay, fine, in order to tap these opportunities, we need funding. So there are a lot of innovation based funding opportunities that are available. So DBT, BIRAC, they have a lot of funding opportunities. BIRAC, especially in India, is working a lot in the healthcare innovation. So go and check out the BIRAC website. There will be a lot of funding opportunities that are available. Then Pfizer, along with IIT Delhi, has that. Johnson and Johnson has their own innovation funding opportunities. Bayer Foundation has it. Cipla has another innovation based funding opportunity. Tata Trust is someone who funds a lot of innovation in healthcare. So if you have some innovative ideas, look at these websites. There are also multiple. So there's something called as Grand Challenges. So Grand Challenges is for multiple countries. So look at Grand Challenges. They also fund innovations. in India, there are certain incubation grants which are, I've just listed down few of them. These are certain very old healthcare incubators or bio incubators. Venture Center is closest to Bombay, which is in Pune. So they train people for innovation in healthcare, especially, and have multiple funding opportunities. So like a lot of help is available. Like I would just like to quote Dumbledore. I remember he said once that at Hogwarts, help will be given to those who ask for it. So same way, if you want to innovate something, if you want to start something, there is a lot of help available. There's a lot of opportunity available. You just have to go seek it out. And with your small efforts repeatedly day in and day out, definitely you will get success. It's important that, like, keep calm, keep re-energizing yourself. It's a difficult process. The entire startup journey is very difficult. It's very fulfilling, but at the same time it's difficult. And so it's very important that you celebrate the small successes so that it encourages you. Keep analyzing your mistakes and failures so that it will help you grow ahead and learn from that mistakes. Smile, have a very positive environment, because obviously it's important. Unless and until you are positive, the team will also remain positive and the growth will definitely keep coming. So stop wishing and start doing. A lot of opportunities are available, a lot of resources are available. So that was from me. Thank you. I can be reached on social media. You can very easily search me on LinkedIn. My company profile as well as my personal profile. So I'm available by the name of, probably if you just type Ruchi Singh Serilia, you can find me on all the social media. Thank you. Yeah. I'll be happy to take up questions. Yeah, Dr. Poonam, are you there? Dr. Poonam, are you there? Have you joined?
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, Samriddhi, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think,
Sir, I guess there is a question.
yeah. Yes, there is a question from Vaishali Yadav, madam. I am going to read the question.
Okay, I
Please, can
have.
you guide how to write BIRAC proposal? Maybe some important points you can mention.
Okay. So, yeah, for the BIRAC proposal or any proposal for that matter, actually, like I have like 2.5 hour long workshops, but then maybe just quick points, I can mention here is so BIRAC or any proposal, what they look for is impact that you're making. So this is very different from the normal ICMR proposals or your DST grant proposals or a Mumbai University that short research grants that generally is written, wherein they do not look at the impact that you're making, but then more on the technology side of it. But then for BIRAC proposals or any other proposals, the impact is extremely important. Like how it is going to be helpful for the society. Also whether you can monetize on that impact, monetize on that product or service that you are proposing for in that proposal. So whether that will be sellable, whether people actually need that particular product. So it's very important when you are writing any proposal, make sure that you are mentioning, you're focusing a lot on the impact. Second thing, a very clear approach on how you are going to take ahead this particular proposal. So what will be your future plan for this proposal? It should not be something just like your normal ICMR DBT proposals, which are more on research based, which are more focused on technology development or research based. Here it is more focused on if you are able to bring that product, bring that technology what you're developing to the market. So focus a lot on how you are going to commercialize this particular thing and what impact it is making on the people. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mohan. So, Buddhi, you can go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Poonam, madam, somewhat louder.
answering this question. Now I will request Samruddhi to proceed for further teaching. There is no more questions.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing such a valuable and informative session and sparing our valuable time to share your thoughts and experience on the topic innovation and startups. And also the quotes you mentioned, like those shalt be your own boss. Stop sharing, start doing. You are the next star is the word explaining the whole session. And also, I'm moving towards the vote of thanks. Today, with a deep satisfaction, we conclude that there is no alteration to hard work and dedication. At this institute, we not only give your students the best but also make sustained efforts to install in them and tough time mindset up is determined and passionate for success, and that too whole at the same time maintaining focus on social responsiveness. I feel honored to get opportunity to propose a vote of thanks of today's program on behalf of Konkan Gyanpit Rahul Dharekar College of Pharmacy and Research Institute, Karjat. I convey my regards and hearty thanks to all the teaching staff, technical staff, organizers who put their persistent effort to make today's program successful. I would like to thank our principal sir, Dr. Mohan Kale, whose guiding vision always motivated us to serve the best. I would like to convey my special regards to management without whose supporting the event wouldn't have been possible. And yes, thank you all the participants for attending the live session. Here, I concluded the session with all permission from our principal, Mohan Kale sir. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay learning, stay digital. Thank you.
Thank you, Samriddhi. One small announcement for participants that I have shared feedback link that will be active for 5 minutes. Please fill that. So thank you everyone. Thank you, Rishi Madam, for taking all
Thank
the
you.
responsibilities.
Thanks. Thanks.